company, organization, or institution, brand or product, artist, band, or public figure, entertainment, and cause or community. Pages are different from profiles for a few important reasons. Your profile is traditionally meant for connecting with friends and family and not for business. Your page, on the other hand, is geared towards raising brand awareness or promoting your business or cause. With pages, you can run paid advertisements, create special offers, analyze data and reports, gain likes and followers, and much more. Pages should be understood as a social avenue for you to build your relationships with prospects, customers, and clients. Finally, business pages are kept completely separate from your personal profile and bear no public connection to you unless you choose to reveal such a connection. Let's talk about building your pages. When you first start, you can simply go to facebook.com/pages/create. You'll be prompted to choose one of the page types listed above. This should be relatively obvious. There is some disagreement about whether online businesses should choose company/organization or brand/product. In most cases, for online businesses, it's the latter, but it entirely depends on your business. It won't make a huge difference in your page functionality though, so don't agonize over the decision too much. Once you've chosen the page type, you'll have a drop-down menu where you'll need to choose an industry or category. If you're unsure which category applies best, don't worry, you can change it later. Then you'll be asked to input a business or product name and hit submit. When you first arrive at your new page, it'll be a little barren, but Facebook has made it very easy to start fleshing it out. The first thing you'll want to do is write a short description of what your page is about. Facebook only allows 155 characters, so you'll want to not only get the main points in just a couple sentences, but you'll also want to make sure you include any critical keywords that you want to be found for when people do searches. Keep in mind, SEO is still important for Facebook, both for its internal search as well as your Facebook page ranking in search engines like Google. Consider using Google's keyword planner tool to determine the best exact keywords to use in your description. Speaking of being findable, you'll also want to assign a unique username to your page. What this does is create an easy-to-remember unique URL for your page, so you don't have a long, impersonal, alphanumeric URL. In the end, you should end up with something along the lines of facebook.com/yourbusinessname. But this will be subject to availability, and you may have to use something slightly different from your actual business name if it's already taken. For example, if facebook.com/Tom'sTomatoShack is already taken, you might have to stick a number 2 at the end of it, or settle for Tom's Tomatoes or something. Don't worry about this too much. It's not like you're choosing an important domain name or trademark. It's purely meant to make it slightly easier for you to put your page URL on a business card, or to make links for your page look more friendly. Next, you'll want to add your website. From the options on the right-hand side of your page, click Add a Website and enter your main website address, or depending on your goal, a specific landing page URL. After that, it's a good idea to add a second admin to your page. Even if you're the sole owner and employee of your business, you should still do it. This way, if your page or profile gets hacked, and that does happen, or if you get locked out of your profile for any reason at all, you'll at least have someone else who can try to access the page and do what needs to be done. This is a security precaution, so it doesn't matter who it is, and they don't literally need to ever be an actual admin. Heck, this could be your grandma if you want. After that, you'll want to like your own page, so you'll now be following it via your personal profile, and you'll want to make sure you turn on notifications. Now you'll want to start visually completing your page. First, you'll want to add a square profile image. This can be an image of you or your logo, or whatever you want people to see associated with your brand. In addition to being visible on your page, this will also be the avatar image that accompanies your comments and activity on Facebook when you're posting or commenting as your business. Once that's done, you'll want to add a horizontal cover image. If you don't have a horizontal image to use for your cover, you can either create one yourself via a tool like Canva, or you can pay someone on Fiverr to make it for you. Next, go to Edit Your Page Info to adjust your page details. Here you can add categories, descriptions, contact info, location, legal disclaimers, and so on. Then, go to See All Information and see if there's anything else you want to add, such as awards, privacy policy, and so on. Finally, you'll want to add a call to action button to the top of your page. This CTA button can be for booking services, contacting you, purchasing or shopping, downloading something, or even a generic Learn More. After choosing one of these categories, you'll have a choice of more specific CTA wordings to select from. Once your page is ready and looking the way you want it, you'll have an opportunity to start inviting friends to like the page or to start posting content to the page timeline. Now let's talk about another type of presence: groups. One option for establishing a presence on Facebook is to create a group. A Facebook group can be either public or private. These groups can be an excellent way to interact with your audience, share content, encourage them to interact with each other, and even start building a tribe mentality among your followers. Although groups can eventually take on a life of their own once you've got enough members in there, conversing, posting, and answering and asking questions, Early on, it'll be important for you to have a content posting routine to keep things fresh and moving. It may also be a good idea to appoint a moderator/admin to handle things on the inside. Be prepared. Groups can easily turn into a second customer support channel, and can also be a place where people think it's okay to dump their complaints or criticisms of your brand. Be sure to keep an eye on things in there. Try to foster a positive vibes environment, and have yourself or moderators on hand to delete or censor any comments that might harm your brand, and make it clear to members whether or not it's okay to handle customer service issues inside the group. And for the record, it's totally up to you, and in fact, handling customer service in groups publicly is becoming a bit of a trend lately. There's plenty of pros and cons to that, we're not going to get into it here. If you choose to make your group a no customer support zone, just ensure you get that message across kindly and gently, and use patience when reminding individual members about it. Remember, your whole tribe can see you here, and they will judge you on how you treat members. Let's talk about creating a group. To create a group, go to your Groups page and click the green Create Group button. You'll first need to name your group. This can be your business name or a spin-off of your business name. For example, if your group is centered around providing special training or advice on using a product, you might call it your product name plus the word masters, experts, or ninjas at the end of it. Each group needs to start out with at least one member. So you can either add several members right there from the beginning, or you can just add yourself for the time being and move on. The final selection is your group's privacy status: closed, public, or secret. Secret means it's not even searchable or discoverable. You can change this setting later, so don't worry about it too much right now. After you hit submit, you'll need to choose an icon for your group. Just pick whatever seems most relevant. Once your group is created, you can start fleshing it out by adding a cover photo and description. The same guidance for business page descriptions above applies here more or less. Keep it short, clear, and include important keywords. As for the cover photo, make it horizontal and consider using Canva to create your image or hiring someone on Fiverr to make a nice image. Finally, there's the personal profile. It's true that Facebook has terms that prohibit using your personal profile for explicit business purposes. However, that does not prevent you from leveraging your personal profile in exactly the way social profiles were meant to be used: networking. Make it clear what it is you do and what services you provide. Make yourself findable via search. Join relevant groups. Contribute to discussions. Introduce yourself and rub elbows as much as possible. In this sense, your personal profile can be an incredible resource for marketing and potentially even more powerful than your business page. So, once you've established the sort of presence you've determined you need, you'll want to start posting content. After all, that's what this whole endeavor has been about, and it's what we'll cover in the next chapter. Videos in recent years that many people have forgotten the power of good old-fashioned text. A basic textual post can accomplish a lot, and in fact, can actually stand out a lot in today's news feeds that are often filled with non-stop cliché viral images and videos. A standard textual post can be an excellent pattern interrupt in these cases. A textual post, whether it be from your personal profile, a business page, or a group, can be about anything you want. It might be a piece of content in and of itself, like an informative blog post. It could be a link back to some other content elsewhere, such as your blog or website or your YouTube channel. Other great ideas for content are questions, stories, and jokes. These can be great for boosting engagement and getting conversations started. A newer feature worth mentioning is the ability to make your textual posts appear as bold text on a large colored background. This is an awesome attention-grabbing feature that's definitely worth trying for short messages. There's only room for 2 or 3 sentences. Finally, a poll is a great way to boost engagement in your textual posts as well. Asking questions is already something that boosts engagement, and people love voting on things. So naturally, when you pair the two together, you're likely to get some great social traction. Here's a quick hint. For polls, always say something like, "Tell us why" in the comments below, so people can talk about their opinions and get some conversations and extra engagement going. Next up, there's image posts and memes. It's been almost a decade, and we're still seeing images of Boromir from Lord of the Rings looking at us in our news feeds, and telling us about how one does not simply this, or one does not simply that. Why? Because it gets people's attention, gets your point across, and usually still results in a few likes, shares, or comments. Whether it's Sean Bean as Boromir saying one does not simply run Facebook ads without using a tracking pixel, or the Dos Equis guy sipping on a beer and saying, "I don't usually try to lose 5 pounds in 1 week, but when I do, I use high-intensity interval training." The fact is, memes work, in almost any niche. In fact, it's precisely their goofy and ironic application to unexpected niches that causes them to be so funny and get a rise out of people. So it's settled. If you can find a few minutes per week to make a funny meme for your niche, It's definitely worth your time. But it's not just about memes. Other types of images can be beneficial as well. If you're working an authority angle, try posting images of you on stage at events. If you're promoting a free report or a free digital offer, you can use an image of the e-cover itself or even a generic stock image that you can find on the cheap at Adobe Stock. Make sure the images are relevant to your offer and audience. So if you're targeting restaurant owners, a smiling business owner standing outside of their restaurant might work. If you're doing a weight loss product, a stock photo of a woman stretching or a man running might be the ticket. If you're selling physical products, use an image of the product itself or of a person using the product. And remember, these are organic posts, not paid ads. So you're not bound by some of Facebook's restrictions like the text-to-image space ratio, and so on. Although there still are some terms of service that apply to all content, so be sure you familiarize yourself with those. Next up, there's videos. The uncontested king of engaging content. This still hasn't changed. In fact, if anything, it's becoming even more of a norm than ever. If you're not using videos in your Facebook marketing, you're missing out big time. While it used to be common to use YouTube for hosting your videos and simply embed or link them on Facebook, in recent years, Facebook has started to beef up their own video hosting functionality. Today, Facebook is giving YouTube a run for its money, and many people are now beginning to lean towards Facebook as their primary video sharing venue. This is beneficial not only to Facebook, but also to marketers because Facebook has made its videos super engaging by making them autoplay with no sound while people are scrolling or swiping past them in their news feeds. This results in a ton of views and engagement. So, video content is a must. But what types of video content should you be incorporating into your marketing? There are several options. There's regular vlogs, talking head videos, selfie videos, screen capture videos, instructions, tutorials, tips and tricks, funny videos, motivational videos, animated explainer videos, short advertisement videos, inspirational videos, slideshow videos. The list goes on and on. Any way you're able to convey content or messages via videos is great. More recently, Facebook has introduced live streaming videos. You can literally host a live video feed or show and even invite others on for split-screen interviews and discussions from just about any device. All of these innovations in Facebook video sharing are helping to propel Facebook further into the video marketing spotlight, and it's not a trend you want to miss out on. Now let's talk about curated and repurposed content. Not all content needs to be created by you or your team from scratch. One very popular form of content marketing is content curation. This means finding existing content from someone else and simply resharing it yourself. This can be done simply by using the share button on Facebook to share other interesting or entertaining posts and add your own comment or commentary. Another way to curate content is to manually republish it. This can mean copying excerpts from someone else's blog, a news article, or a book, and so on. Just ensure you always attribute it to the author. For example, here's some great tips from the folks at such and such blog. And try to always put your own comments at the beginning or end and ask your audience what their thoughts are. This is a mutually beneficial form of content marketing because you're spreading the exposure of the other entity's brand, which they'll appreciate, while also posting content with almost no work required on your part. Another option for quick content publishing is to repurpose your existing content. Do you have ebooks, reports, or guides of your own? Why not take a chapter from one of your ebooks, tweak it at the beginning and the end, and publish it on Facebook? Heck, you could turn an ebook or report into a whole series of Facebook posts covering a whole week. Have a blog on your website with interesting articles and posts? Why not post a teaser or excerpt from each blog post, old or new, and a link to the post in question? Same goes for videos, podcasts, interviews, and so on. If you've been online long enough, there's a good chance you'll be able to repurpose a lot of your old content into Facebook posts. Now let's talk about boosting content. Although this guide is about organic content and not paid ads, it's worth mentioning that you can pay to give your organic content a little kickstart and increase the reach and exposure of it. You can do this by choosing any organic post of yours and clicking the Boost Post button. This will open a new screen where you essentially turn your post into a paid ad for a limited amount of time. You can set a budget, choose an audience, and many of the other settings you'd usually apply to creating a paid ad. This will get your post in front of many eyes that otherwise would not have seen it in their news feeds. Be advised, when you use this method, your post technically becomes a Facebook ad and will then be subject to Facebook ad guidelines that most organic content is not subject to. So if you have an image in your Facebook post and the image is almost completely text or has a very large text-to-image ratio, there's a pretty good chance it's not going to be a good fit as a boosted post. Now let's talk about content planning. Planning out your Facebook marketing strategy is super important. The last thing you want is for your Facebook presence to turn into one of those where you set up a page, post a few things, and then becomes lifeless for months at a time. This happens a lot. When people see this, you instantly lose credibility. And that's why it's important for your team to have a robust content posting schedule and strategy. Ideally, you should be posting something almost every day at least. However, this need not always be content designed from scratch. Instead, you can set aside 2 days of the week that are for original, created from scratch posts or videos, while all the other days in between only require a reshared post from elsewhere or a quick meme or image. Set aside another day of each week for a video post and maybe another day for a community poll. If you have a regularly updated blog or YouTube channel, you can also simply add a new step to your blog posting or YouTube uploading workflow, in which after each post or upload, a link to the new content should be shared and teased on Facebook. There are a number of ways to easily incorporate daily Facebook posting into your weekly routine. It would also be a good idea to establish a daily or at least weekly